Good morning, everybody, from Guadalupe Mountains National Park. I'm really happy to be back out here. It's been a while, and I think I got a really good trip in store for myself and hopefully for you guys. So follow along. We head up into the high country of the Guadalupe Mountains. Crossing into the wilderness. So the ranger said they've had a ton of rain out here, somewhere between 8 to 10 inches in the month of August. And it is mid-September right now, so everything's still pretty green. Seen tons of wildflowers already, and I think this trip I'm supposed to have really good weather. So I got to the park about 8:15 Mountain Time, which means I left my house at 2 a.m. and drove all the way out here. It was just after the park entrance opened, but I was the only car in the parking lot, which is vastly different than the last couple times I've been here, where they were rejecting people from coming in. And then I was also able to get my permit. Went super quick. That was the quickest my backcountry permit has ever gone. Then I got over to the trailhead, and there was actually parking there, which is way different than my last couple trips. So yeah, I feel like that's a good omen. Good way to start the trip. So for this trip, I am on the Tejas Trail, and it's probably the main trail up into the Guadalupe Mountain backcountry, and I'm still pretty low. You can probably see it runs along this ridge right here at an angle. That's where I'll be here in a minute. It makes a big turn and then continues way up higher. Pan around here, across the canyon, and that's the Guadalupe Mountain side. Can't see the peak from here, but you can make out the horse trail and the switchbacks of the hiker trail going up there right about the center of the shot. And I've been hearing lots of people going up over there. The ranger told me that there's nobody has anything reserved as far as backcountry sites over here on the back side of the park where I'm headed to Dog Canyon tonight, which is a front country campground, but it's so far out of the way. I guess you could kind of consider it a backcountry campground. He said hardly anybody's been staying up there, and I have a reservation there for tonight. It's looking back toward the way I came. You can see the visitor center down there, right where this wash runs into. Well, I just made it to the bend here in the Tejas Trail, and that's where I'm headed up, back there behind me. And I'm excited to get up there into some pine trees and some shade, because it has been super hot and finally getting a little bit of a breeze. Most people complain about the wind out here, and normally I would too, but there was no breeze on the way up here. Just got it right whenever I got to this bend here in the trail, and I was hoping to make it up here and get a little shade on the other side of this ridge, but not sure. Doesn't look like I'm gonna get too much. Anyway, onward and upward, get on up there into the forest. So you can see the trail there on the right, and then like I said, it's getting much steeper coming up. Probably see all right in here, there's some switchbacks, and that's where we're headed. Man, this heat is taking it out of me. It has made this climb pretty tough. My legs actually feel pretty good. Cardio's doing okay. But the heat, man, it is so hot. I'm enjoying the shade right now. Just about at the top. Definitely flattened out. That's a Hunter Peak. Actual peak's right behind there somewhere. Looking out into the desert, out of Pine Springs Canyon. And then you see those big switchbacks the way I was coming up a long while ago. There's Guadalupe Peak there in the center, the tallest one. And then Shumard there on the right. And here is the main trail junction here at Pine Top. Got a few different trails coming together here. If you take this left-hand turn, you're going to make it over to the Bush Mountain Trail, headed toward Bush Mountain also toward Pine Top campsites. The Tejas Trail runs straight back that direction, and then the Bowl Trail and on to Hunter Peak is back that way. Finally made it to some trees. Woo! Man, I'm happy for some shade. Try to eat something while I take a break right here at the trail junction. It is about 11 o'clock mountain time, so maybe slightly early for lunch. It is absolutely amazing the difference in the trail from what I was hiking 10 minutes ago to what I'm on now. A lot of people come to Guadalupe Mountains and may not even realize that something like this exists here, but man, this is super nice. A little bit of dirt on the trail. That's a real treat for out here. So still on the Tejas Trail, starting to descend toward the wash that'll eventually lead to the Tejas campsite. And a lot of it's been open, and you can see a lot of evidence of past fires. They've had a couple of them here and now in the last decade or so. Well, I'm at the junction with the Juniper Trail, which is right behind me, and that is one of my favorite trails here in the park. It's cut real wide, and I actually talked to the park superintendent, told me that that did in fact used to be an old road from back in the ranching days, so kind of neat. You can tell whenever you are hiking on it, it's pretty wide. Well, I just got to my lunch spot here at the Tejas campsite. It took me about 45 minutes from where I got to the trail junction up there at Pine Top to get here. Still not moving super fast. Everywhere that I'm in the sun at all, man, I'm just burning up. Don't feel good, but hopefully after lunch and chilling here for just a little bit, I'll be doing pretty good. Anyway, this is the first time I've been by the Tejas campsites in I think a couple years, and these are, as far as tent pads go, this is the best backcountry campsites here at Guadalupe Mountains. And it doesn't have a view, but as far as like the setting of the actual campground and everything, like, I don't know, I think this is the best. You're shielded from the wind, you're in the forest, got good tent pads. This is just a really nice campsite, and I would definitely recommend this to somebody coming on their first trip out here, or anybody coming on a trip out here. There's the water tank here at the Tejas campsites. Unfortunately, that thing doesn't actually hold water. That's left over from the old ranching days, and coming down the wash here, you'll see metal pipe, and that used to gravity feed from up in the bowl all the way down here to this tank, and several tanks on its way down here. And I think that this is the last one in the line, but they may have had more. But this is the farthest down one that I've seen. Well, I just left the Tejas campsites after eating lunch, or trying to anyway. I didn't eat very much, but did get stung by a bee while I was there. One of them was hovering around me the whole time I was eating, and then I felt it crawl into my shirt, and when I was trying to get it out, of course, it stung me on my back of my shoulder and left a stinger in there. Luckily, I was able to reach back and pull it out. Just saw a horned frog, but I don't know if I'll be able to get close enough to it before it takes off. Nope. Clouds are starting to look a little dark. Looking back to the south, I think they are headed that direction. So hopefully nothing to worry about. Well, I've had a few good things happen since the last video. Been hiking non-stop through these flowers. It's been so pretty. The trail's pretty overgrown, but man, they've been really nice. And not just these yellow ones, there's been all colors and really pretty. Probably the best thing that's happened is clouds have moved in, blocked the sun out. That has made a world of difference, and the temperature made me feel a lot better. Not to mention that the trail was pretty flat. And then third thing is, I got my first view over on the Dog Canyon side. I think this is looking down into West Dog Canyon and like where the Marcus Trail would come down, but I'm not 100% on that. Anyway, hoping it doesn't rain, but I really appreciate the clouds. So I have made it to the junction with the McKittrick Canyon Trail, and I had planned to go do the high point on the McKittrick Ridge, which is about 300 feet up from here, and then about a mile, 1.2 miles from here. So it'll be a 2 to 2.5 mile round trip. And I think I got time. So I'm gonna try to go hit that. And then hopefully some of these clouds move back in. It gets cloudy again, give me some shade. Have started getting some breeze, which is nice. And I head this way, this will be an out and back. And then I'll be heading down that way toward Dog Canyon to stay tonight. So I think I have somewhere around 6 miles or something like that left, including this out and back. Look at all these flowers. Look at all those flowers. Holy crap, I'm real glad that I decided to come down this trail because the flowers have been insane. The whole side of that mountain is yellow. And I believe that point right there in the center is where I'm headed to, point 7916. That is the high point of this ridge. And McKittrick Canyon, already beautiful. You've had this blanket of flowers all over the mountainsides, just all the way around. It's, golly, it is stunning. So I made it up to the high point of McKittrick Ridge, 7916. And the McKittrick Ridge Trail is just down below us, this right here. So really didn't have to come up too far, although it was super steep and obviously really overgrown. Really pretty from up here. Great views down into McKittrick, and like I said, the wildflowers are awesome. You see Guadalupe Peak back there in the center. This has been pretty neat. I'm glad I knocked this out, but I'm ready to get down to Dog Canyon. Ready to sit down and lay down. Pretty sweet views over on the Dog Canyon side as well. The deal is I have, I think, like 4 miles or so to get down to Dog Canyon, and most of it's downhill. But I only have a half liter of water left. Started the day with a gallon and just been drinking like crazy. There's Lost Peak right in front of us. You can see I'm hiking through the burn section over here toward Dog Canyon, and gonna go right near the summit of Lost Peak. That's where the Tejas Trail goes, and I can't decide if I'm gonna go the 1/4 mile or however, probably not even that far off trail and do the summit. I can see Dog Canyon Campground down there in the center of the shot, down at the very bottom, and not too far away. And just over here, over in New Mexico, just on the other side of Lost Peak, it's raining a little bit. Hopefully I can get down before that makes its way over here. Heading down to Dog Canyon Campground. The rain sure is pretty. The water tower from Dog Canyon Campground just came into view, so I drank my last couple sips of water. So now I'm officially out, but I will be somewhere to fill up here in 5 minutes or so. Load up on water, head over to my campsite and lay down. Yeah, there's what I'm looking for right there. Gotta walk a couple 100 yards from the trailhead over to the campsite. And I have a reservation for one, so I should have my spot. There's several cars here, so definitely not going to be alone tonight. Well, there's home for the night. Got my Gatewood cape set up. Got it pitched low in the back in case the wind picks up overnight. We're getting some decent gusts earlier. Got my net tent down inside there. Got a table over here. There is a bathroom straight back about 50 yards or so that direction. I'm gonna head over there and try to clean up a little bit. Then they do have Wi-Fi here, or they're supposed to. I've never been able to get it to work, but I know some people have, so I'm gonna try and see if I can get on Wi-Fi and send Olivia a message and let her know I'm okay. So tonight for dinner, I'm having ramen. Big package of it, and putting some chicken in there. This actually comes with dehydrated vegetables and a teriyaki sauce, as well as normal chicken flavor for ramen. Also with my dinner, I got some blue Gatorade. Brought several packets to mix some up. This ramen's pretty good. A lot better than like little plastic package you buy, little squares. Overall, I think I did about 14.5 to 15 miles, and that was a lot because I woke up at 1:45 a.m., which would be 12:45 a.m. here, drove all the way out here, and then did that. I was coming down from Lost Peak, which I didn't end up going up. Yeah, I was pretty beat. That was tough. I'm glad to be here, and hopefully I get about 10 hours of sleep tonight and feel way better in the morning. Good morning, everybody. It's the morning of day 2. Sun hadn't quite come up yet, but getting some spectacular colors. I slept great last night. Slept 11 hours. Moved up here to this picnic table over by the sign when you come in, hoping there'd be less mosquitoes. It's like swarms of them down there by where I was camping at this morning. And they're not much better up here. That's why I got my hood up, trying to keep them off my neck, but they're biting me through my shirt also. Dunkin' Donuts coffee. And for breakfast, I'm having a peanut butter Rice Krispie treat. This thing is huge. Probably shouldn't have made them quite this big, but figured I'd need the calories, so I'm going to try to finish this thing. Get it out of my pack anyway, because it probably weighs a pound by itself. Well, the sun still hasn't quite broken over the ridge, which is nice. That'll give me a good start out of Dog Canyon without it being super hot. The trail junction with the Bush Mountain Trail. Overgrown as always. This is pretty much what the trail's been like so far. Really overgrown and pretty hard to find exactly where it's at. Finally made it to these trees, made it to some shade. That last section all out in the sun, that was brutal. This uphill coming up to the Marcus Overlook is not, it's not super steep, it's not super hard, but all out in the open. There is zero breeze out here today, which is crazy. I could definitely go for about 10-mile-an-hour wind or so. Well, I made it up to the Marcus Overlook. This is looking over into West Dog Canyon and beyond. Marcus Trail's right down here in the bottom of this closest canyon, and Marcus campsites are just beyond that. That ridge in the back there is Cutoff Ridge, and that's Cutoff Mountain right there in the very center. And just on the other side of that The Guadalupes drop off and it goes straight down into the desert, just maybe like 2 humps over from Cutoff Mountain is where New Mexico starts real close to here. So most of what we're looking at now is New Mexico. Also, Culberson and Hudspeth counties split right there on Cutoff Mountain. Gonna head up the Manzanita Ridge, up toward Lost Peak, summit that. Here's a better shot of the Manzanita Ridge. I've come up one little hill or peak or whatever from the Marcus Overlook, but basically gonna follow this ridge right along this way, right up there to Lost Peak, which I think is like 7830 or something like that. And then get back on the Tejas Trail that I was on yesterday. And it's going to end up right over on the left-hand side of Blue Ridge, which is the big ridge right there in the center of the shot. It's not going to go across that. It's going to stay over to the left. And that's getting up closer to 8,000 feet. Several deer right there in the middle of the shot. I can see at least one big buck. Always see deer over here on the Dog Canyon side. Saw one as soon as I got to camp last night. Saw a couple this morning. And then that was the biggest group of them I've seen so far. Another horned frog. This one's tiny compared to the other one. Turned around and noticed it's raining. That's north of Dog Canyon Campground, probably back over toward Queen, New Mexico. And hopefully I can get off this ridge before anything like that starts happening over here, because it's pretty dark. I didn't realize that until I turned around. You can see the Tejas Trail is just down there underneath me. And I'm almost up to Lost Peak. It's just beyond this peak right here. This is what I've been looking at, bright and shiny. Sun shining out this way. I didn't even know that it was raining. Made it to the summit of Lost Peak. And coming up the ridge really wasn't too bad. Here's the huge cairn or summit marker. I'll look back into the big mountains of the Guads. Making our way around. You can see the salt flats down in the floor down there by Del City. Several of the crop fields. Down into West Dog Canyon. And then swinging back around over here toward Dog Canyon in the rain. Well, I really hate to get off here this quick. Literally been up here 5 minutes, but I can hear it thundering, so probably not a great place to be. I'm gonna head down that way. It's definitely getting closer, making its way up Dog Canyon toward me. Not too far from the trail. I can see it right down there below me. But it's definitely making its way this way. And as you can tell, there's not a ton of cover right here. So I'm going to do my best to hurry up and make it around over there where the trees are. Man, there's nothing like the thunder of an approaching storm while you're standing on the summit of a mountain to motivate you to get moving quick. I hadn't had a whole ton of motivation on this trip, but it's got me moving now. I'm headed south and trying to get to some better tree cover, but if worse comes to worse, I'll just bail off the side a little bit, go down just a little ways and get under a live tree. Not a lot of actual coverage up here. Well, I just made it back to the junction with the McKittrick Canyon Trail. Came over this ridge and there's dark clouds building on this side also. I thought I was just running from the storm back behind me, which is back that way. Definitely way darker. That's the one that's dumping rain right now and one I can hear all the thunder coming from, but it looks like we got storm clouds building over here. Well, we're starting to get a pretty steady rain. It's definitely getting heavier. I think I'm going to have to throw my poncho on and head on. I can't even see the mountains over there anymore, so I know it's about to really pick up. Well, I started hiking just for about 15 seconds and got a huge bolt of lightning right overhead. Really loud clap of thunder, so I decided to bail out off the trail, and I think I'm just going to sit this one out here under my tarp. Monsoon season. It's not just a little rain, it is getting it. It's been doing this for a while. Not very fun at all. It's probably been about an hour and a half. It's just been pouring down. I can still hear some rumbles of thunder, but it's not directly overhead like it's been. I mean, it's just been crazy. Anyway, I'm going to try to get up the trail while I can. It's definitely gotten way colder, and now I feel a little bad for complaining about the heat earlier. A little bit waterlogged. Well, I stopped in here at the Tejas campsites trying to let my shoes dry out some. You can see some sun just poke through right there on that tent pad. That's the first sun I've seen in hours. There's Hunter Peak right up there, center of the shot. That's the 6th highest mountain in the state of Texas. And I am almost back to the trail junction here at Pine Top. I think we finally got over the thunder. I don't know how long that lasted, probably, man, I don't know, 6-7 hours of constant thunder. Now it just feels super humid. And I think that's part of my problem the whole time where it's felt super hot out here. It's been more humid than what it normally is. I'm gonna go ahead and hike the 4 miles back down Tejas, back down to Pine Springs. I was thinking about staying up at Pine Top tonight, but I'm just ready to go have some creature comforts, I guess. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and head down, and hopefully I can knock this out in a couple hours. It'll be right around sunset. Well, I can see Pine Springs. I can see the trailhead parking lot where the RVs are out there in the center. I can even see my truck. And kind of weird, there's not that many cars in the parking lot. It's not that late in the day. I guess maybe the rain pushed some people away. Made it back to the trailhead. It's exactly 1.5 hours from the trail junction back there to this sign. That's with probably 10 minutes of stopping and videoing, getting snacks out and all that. Parking lot's pretty empty. Well, I think I'm gonna go clean up and get some water and Gatorade, and I got lots of snacks to eat. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for following along, and I'll see you when I see you.